G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website and YouTube channel Kangaroo Court of Australia. Now, the United States has just bombed Iran. Apparently, there were 3 bombs, and immediate reporting is saying it's just a one-off, so they're not going to continue to bomb Iran. So that leaves the war down to Iran and Israel and what they do. But while the US says they're not going to bomb Iran again, well, it really depends on what Iran does. If they start attacking US assets and US military in the Middle East, well, then you expect the US to retaliate. So who knows what will happen? It's really going to play out over the next few days, next few weeks, maybe next few months or more. And I've just published an article which covers some of the background to the bombing, and I'll read that article out now. And the article's titled, Israel's Complaints Against Iran Confirm Israel's War Crimes and Genocide in Gaza. And it starts off, Israel's war against Iran is exposing Israel's war crimes and genocide in Gaza because the spokespeople, politicians and defence personnel for Israel have told so many lies that the lies are catching up with them and the new lies contradict the old lies. Israel has complained that Iran bombed an Israeli hospital, which is a war crime if true, but they fail to mention that Israel has bombed a hospital in Iran and every hospital in Gaza. So, based on Israel's own complaint against Iran, Israel has committed widespread war crimes in Gaza. It is potentially a huge problem for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu if he is ever arrested for the outstanding arrest warrant for the war crime of starvation as a method of warfare and the crimes against humanity of murder, persecution, and other inhumane acts during the Gaza war. A report published on the United Nations website on the 31st of December 2024 says, a report published today by the UN Human Rights Office found that Israelis' pattern of deadly attacks on and near hospitals in Gaza and associated combat pushed the healthcare system to the brink of total collapse, with catastrophic effects on Palestinians' access to health and medical care. Now, in the article, I also embedded a video from Al Jazeera News, which is titled Israel Accused of Hypocrisy over Hospital Attacks Amid Escalating Conflict. You can go to my website, click on that article, then you'll be able to watch the video there. My article goes on to say, on a Wikipedia page titled Attacks on Health Facilities During the Gaza War, it says, a significant number of attacks on healthcare facilities occurred during the Gaza war. During the first week of the war, there were 94 attacks on healthcare facilities in Israel and Gaza, killing 29 healthcare workers and injuring 24. The attacks on healthcare facilities contributed to severe humanitarian crisis in Gaza. By 30th of November, the World Health Organization documented 427 attacks on healthcare in the West Bank and Gaza Strip, resulting in 566 fatalities and 758 injuries. In February 2024, it was reported that every hospital in Gaza is either damaged, destroyed, or out of service due to the lack of fuel. By April, WHO had verified 906 attacks on healthcare in Gaza, the West Bank, Israel, and Lebanon. Of June 2024, according to WHO, Israel had attacked 464 healthcare facilities, killed 727 healthcare workers, injured 933 healthcare workers, and damaged or destroyed 113 ambulances. Each side has been accused of committing war crimes in their attacks. CNN quoted the ICRC saying that hospitals are given special protection under international humanitarian law in a time of war. If militants store weapons there or use them as a base of fire, then that protection falls away. Human Rights Watch stated the Israeli government has put forward no evidence that would justify stripping hospitals of their special protections. In December 2024, Andrew Cayley of the International Criminal Court said that Israeli claims about Hamas' use of hospitals are grossly exaggerated. On the 13th of March 2025, a United Nations investigation concluded that Israel has committed genocidal acts in Gaza by systematically destroying its reproductive healthcare facilities. My article goes on to say, Israeli lies and Iran's nuclear weapons. Israel and the US have failed to produce any evidence that Iran has a nuclear weapons program. In fact, Tulsi Gabbard, the US Director of National Intelligence, delivered a concise verdict during congressional testimony in March 2025. The intelligence community continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon. The Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorised the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. Donald Trump swatted aside the assessment from the official that he handpicked to deliver him information from 18 US intelligence agencies. I don't care what she said Trump. I think they were very close to having one. Under pressure from Donald Trump, Tulsi Gabbard is now claiming her evidence to Congress was misinterpreted. My article goes on to say, sounds like the Iraq weapons of mass destruction lie all over again. In early 2000s, US President George W. Bush and British Prime Minister Tony Blair both falsely asserted that Saddam's weapons program was still active and large stockpiles of weapons of mass destruction were hidden in Iraq. Despite this, Bush asserted peaceful measures could not disarm Iraq and launched an Iraq war. A year later, the US Senate released a report of pre-war intelligence on Iraq, which included that many of the pre-war statements about Iraq's weapons of mass destruction were not supported by the underlying intelligence. Now, I'm about to show you a 54-second long video, and it shows the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, over a 30-year period claiming Iran is close to having nuclear weapons. And I'll show you that video now.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
The deadline for attaining this goal is getting extremely close. Iran and Libya are racing to develop nuclear weapons.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
By next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished. Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs. Iran to produce an arsenal of nuclear weapons. They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be within a few months.
My article goes on to say, old media catching up with social media. The old media have largely been pro-Israel in their reporting of Israel's genocide in Gaza. Their failure to use the word genocide is one example of their pro-Israel reporting. Now, their reporting on Israel's attack on Iran seems a bit more balanced. That might be because of Israel's hypocrisy, playing the victims and asking for sympathy when they have been and still are killing Palestinians daily. Australian politicians and their stance on the matter. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong have been doing little more than pushing Israeli and US propaganda on the war and genocide, with a few minor exceptions. The Sydney Morning Herald reported Iran must stop its nuclear weapons program to seize an opening for peace created by the US President Donald Trump's 2-week deadline, or decide whether to strike their country, Foreign Minister Penny Wong told her US counterpart Marco Rubio overnight. What garbage, as if anyone in the US government is listening to anything Penny Wong has to say on the matter. And why does Penny Wong leak it to the media? To keep Israel happy. Why didn't Penny Wong ask the US counterpart Marco Rubio to get Israel to stop bombing Iran and killing people in Gaza? And if Israel won't stop, the US should stop giving Israel the weapons they are using to commit the war crimes and genocide. Whether or not Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was ever arrested and tried for war crimes is one issue. But what is telling is the politicians who still support Benjamin Netanyahu, such as almost all of the federal Labor, Liberal and National Party MPs and senators. Now, as I said at the beginning, the war stepped up a notch with the US bombing Iran, and it really comes down to what Iran does in retaliation. If they bomb US assets and military in the area, well, obviously the whole war is going to escalate and escalate it fast. And for Australia, well, it really comes down to what our politicians do. At the moment, they've been grovelling to the US, grovelling to Israel. So I'll keep on following up. And please do your bit to help shine a light on corruption and share this video on social media. And please hit the like and subscribe button and notification button. That way you get notified every time I publish a new video. And Kangaroo Court of Australia's independent media. I publish a website and YouTube channel. And I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself. So please support my Patreon account or PayPal account. The links for them are below this video on YouTube and also on my website. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.